What's up everyone, and welcome to NGUYію. So today, we're gonna be reacting to MINZY and CHUNG, and the song is gonna be called NdzI ĐAU GIemA HޮA. Of course, I haven't pronounced this correct probably, but will be my first time reacting to MINZY, and I'm pretty excited for that. It's been highly requested song, especially over the past few days. It has been released, like it's top 40 in global top music videos, which is amazing, by the way, and I'm just quite excited to see what this is all about. So yeah, I don't want to waste any more of your time. Let's get into it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, you know I'm ready. I know you're ready. This is MINZY and CHUNG official music video. 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Mọi người kể những câu chuyện xưa đã trở thành huyền thoại và viết nên bao bài ca để ngàn năm hát mãi về người mẹ Việt Nam anh hùng đã quên mình, gạt đi nước mắt tiễn con lên đường. Nỗi đau người ở lại mấy ai hiểu được, vì trái tim yêu đàn con và yêu đất nước. Người mẹ nào không xót thương con, nhớ thương con, chờ tin chiến thắng về trong hy vọng. Người mẹ ấy tìm con giữa tiếng reo dân tộc, người vợ ấy tìm chồng giữa đám đông. Hòa bình đến rồi sao anh vẫn chưa trở về, giữa tiếng cười mình mẹ rơi nước mắt. Đạn bom đã ngừng bay, những vết thương sâu này vẫn âm ỉ ngày đêm làm sao nguôi. Hòa bình đến rồi sao những đứa con của tôi còn ngủ mãi giữa chiến trường thôi. Một thời chiến tranh qua rồi mang các con đi rồi, chỉ có chim câu gửi về màu xanh chiếc áo. Viên đạn từ muôn hướng ghim vào trái tim mẹ, mừng cho đất nước và đau cho mình. Người mẹ ấy tìm con giữa tiếng reo dân tộc, người vợ ấy tìm chồng giữa đám đông. Hòa bình đến rồi sao anh vẫn chưa trở về, giữa tiếng cười mình mẹ rơi nước mắt. Đạn bom đã ngừng bay, những vết thương sâu này vẫn âm ỉ ngày đêm làm sao nguôi. Hòa bình đến rồi sao những đứa con của tôi còn ngủ mãi giữa chiến trường thôi. Động lực đôi bằng bao nhiêu sớm
Well, I just looked at the lyrics too, so I can get the full picture because the subtitles didn't work in this video. But yeah, I read the lyrics too on my own, and obviously the song is a hard to watch. To be honest, it's I can only imagine what it's like to watch as a person from Vietnam, or especially if you have relatives who have been in that war. I was pretty sure they talked about the Vietnam War, but once the wife opened the letter of her husband and it said 1972, that pretty much confirmed it. Well, I'm not gonna be out here talking about history, or because we everybody knows about the Vietnam War. Everybody studied about the Vietnam. I'm a Bulgarian and I studied about the Vietnam War because it's one of the most unnecessary conflicts. But what this song is about, it's about the consequences of war. It's all the people who lost their lives. I believe in that war there were about specifically on Vietnam side, I think I've read back in the day, like when I was in school, like about 1 million people have lost their lives, including civilians, soldiers. About 1 million people lost their lives in that war. That is such a huge casualties. Like it's such a huge loss. And I believe at the end they even show like a person in a wheelchair, you know, maybe remembering, maybe that's a war veteran, or maybe that's a person who lost someone in the war. I have no idea. But people are, and throughout the years we were just brought, and people were just brought, countries were brought into conflicts that they don't want to be a part of, or they have nothing to do with it, and it's usually instigated by the big superpowers. That's just my opinion. And yeah, this song talked about it. It just showed a footage of one person's story, and there are millions of stories like this, if not billions. Like there are millions of stories about this, of how people lost their husbands, their sons. Mothers lost their husbands, their sons, and even some of them died because it's just Vietnam was, it was brutal over there. It was brutal. There are all sorts of movies, there are all sorts of documentaries. It's just, I am very uncomfortable watching stuff like that, but it's true. It's the reality that we live in. And yeah, I'm a bit stunned when I see something like that. There's not much to talk, and I can only imagine what it's like to have a person who's been in the war. I have relatives who have been in war, who have seen war, who have been in World War II, for example. I have, long time, they passed away a long time ago, but unfortunately this is like one of the last generations who had relatives who were in the war. I hope we continue with peace, but even now in this world there is war. I hope it doesn't grow into a global conflict again, but as you can see, there are a couple of wars that we see even right now. It's just, these things never stop. It's just, violence will never end. Unfortunately, it's in the human nature of, unfortunately, to fight, to kill, to conquer, and unfortunately there are civilians like me, like you, who will suffer, and who have suffered. Probably some of you watching this reaction probably have suffered, probably had relatives who suffered, because I'm assuming most of the people who watch this will be from Vietnam, and yeah. All I can say is really my condolences to, the people who lost their, who lost relatives in this war, who have suffered the consequences of this war, because that's what this song is about, showing the consequences. Again, in this video, it was just a lady who gave birth to a kid, and she just wanted to see her husband, but he passed away. And that's one of the many stories out there of people suffering, and people just losing either their lives or a close one's life for a cause that it's not even important. And that's it. That's just it, and we can't do nothing about it. There are countries, there are people who are way more powerful, and once they decide to take action, you can't stop it, you can't prevent it. All you can do is try to survive, and that is also very hard to do. So again, my condolences to all the people who lost their lives in that war, to all the people who are watching and have lost someone. We all lose people in our lives, that's just part of nature, but losing it like this, it's a tough pill to swallow for sure. And yeah, I really hope you have enjoyed this reaction. This was just a tough song, and something like that is just my my heart stopped. Like, that's, watching this was just it was brutal. It was brutal because it's real. I can watch many videos about story. There are many also videos that kind of can make you feel sad or make you feel like you can't do anything about stuff, but some of them are not real. They're just made up scenes, but this is real. This is as real as it gets, and it's just, yeah, it's, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Thank you all for watching. I really hope at least you have enjoyed this reaction. I hope you have enjoyed it, and yeah, let me know what you think about this. And yeah, I don't know what is there to think. I mean, it's, yeah. Thank you all. This is gonna be it for me. Bye bye. I'll see you in the next one.